Hello. Okay. Well, hopefully this won't seem too lazy, but I'll try to be, brief and short. Black Friday already happened, and I didn't do my, long form video about, the perils and good qualities of Guitar Center and similar things. Um, so whether you choose to shop with a corporate store or a smaller, mom and pop music store, kind of depends on what you're looking for. Kind of depends on how much you want to spend. Guitarists and other musicians are kind of a finicky bunch, so they're kind of hard to shop for. So it's hard to give real concrete advice. Like, I know I showed pick guards for my thumbnail. Stuff like that is more customized stuff, so you have to know if the person knows how to customize a guitar, or if the stuff will even fit their guitar, and da da da. And if you're on a budget where you're not buying them a guitar or a whole, set, like a beginner set of the guitar and the amp and the cable and the strap and all that come together. Now, even if you are buying that pack, though, there are certain upgrades you might want to include. Or if you're buying, sometimes the stuff that comes in the pack is better than the guitar, and sometimes the stuff that comes in the pack is just filler, and you really just want the guitar and the amplifier. So it kind of, like, I'll be talking a lot about guitar straps because I was going to do a guitar strap video anyway. But I mean, certain stuff is practical, like tape, but nobody wants this in their stocking, right? I mean, it's kind of a thing. So, in again, a box of strings can be good, but you need to know what gauge they like, whether they, play an acoustic guitar. These be electric strings, these be acoustic strings. There will, possibly be a difference. If they play classical guitar, that's a different type of strings. So you as the gift giver, unless you just want to save yourself a bunch of time and trouble and just get gift cards, you'll have to do a little bit of homework. Some stuff that's usually pretty good, though, is, a decent pair of headphones. I don't know if these are too high quality, but I've had them for a while and they still work. Cables are always good. I know, again, almost as exciting as a roll of tape. But sometimes they need shorter ones for attaching gizmos, but this is like a 10-footer, I think. For me, a practice cable less than 20 feet is not ideal. I'd rather have 20 feet. So if you are thinking of getting somebody cables or microphone cords or something like that, maybe a 3-pack of 20-footers, something like that. That would actually be useful for most musicians. If you're willing to spend a little bit more money, a practice amp can be found for less than $100. If willing to do a little due diligence and make sure it works correctly. There are probably more up-to-date versions of tuners than this, but overall, this Korg brand I like. Electronics from them more than some of the other ones. And, what's this, 10 or 20 bucks maybe. And most guys have these other tuners that go on the headstock and cost more and work better and blah, or, they, again, if it depends on the age, the level of the student or whoever, blah, blah, blah. For drummers, most people think sticks are a good idea, but of course then you get the guys who they're only going to want a certain type of stick. So, instead of going to like the $2 bin, you might want to find out what kind of sticks they use and get them a whole brick, which is more like 12 pairs. I always meet kind of those moms who get all proud and go, I got my son a pair of drumsticks, or I got my son a hockey stick. I'm like, okay, now get him 30 more, and that'll one won't do much. They'll break. Or you could get them something nicer, like a set of hot rods, if they might use something a little more like that, if they don't just play super hard music. Like I was saying, guitar straps are always good. Almost always good, depending on their taste. I don't know what brand this is anymore. I've had this one for a while. The older ones almost always had kind of a leather backing, so they would be more durable. Like, I have this one from like probably the 70s or whatever that's still still usable, whereas a lot of the newer ones that look like this, so they look like they're the old. This is supposed to look like beadwork, right? But it's actually just stitching. But this is typically an acoustic strap as opposed to an electric strap. But the straps that come in those performer packs or whatever are usually very low quality and need to be replaced immediately. So any halfway decent strap, like then there's more, a little bit more elaborate ones. Like this one has this nice big heavy thick foam. It should be really good for a bass player or somebody who plays a heavier guitar, like some of the Telecasters or the Les Pauls. You probably don't need this much padding if you're just playing a Mustang or a Stratocaster or something. Some of the brands that I'm not endorsed by any brands, but Ernie Ball makes. This is what I'm talking about. They're decent, but it's all nylon now. There's no backing. And this is, a standard electric guitar strap that could also be used for an acoustic guitar because acoustic guitars don't weigh that much typically. Another Ernie Ball. They have some colorful kind of designs. But I think these are kind of in the $15-$20 range still. Not too bad. And then here's a similar one from a different brand. Say again, all nylon, but this is by P, whoever P is. Perry's. So colorful, similar to the one we just looked at. Obviously, they're kind of copying each other a little bit, but depends on the color scheme of the player. They might prefer something like that. Or here's kind of a skater looking one, P again. And again, with just nylon. But they also have, I don't know which one this came off of. This is their thing, Perry's. Okay. This is by somebody. Might be branded. I got this several years ago, but here's like an elaborate, real kind of 60s, 70s looking thing that I was using more with my bass. Okay, see, here it is. Giggly Wiggly. Am I reading this upside down? Gooble. I don't know. Good luck. Try and read that. Anyway, I like this strap, but I haven't used it in a long time. But it is also a nylon. So this was, in the 2000s, trying to look like a vintage thing rather than being an actual vintage thing. Here's Levy's. This one I've had for a while. Kind of the beginning of the nylon trend, I think. So that's not going away anytime soon. I got this one. This is a Fender. And this is meant to look old-timey, also match their tweed cases. Good luck finding their tweed cases. Gig bags are a good, or cases if they have a nicer guitar and they don't have a case, but that'll set you back more than you might want to spend for a casual gift. There's got that. Oops. Trying to show the logo. Fender F. I have some other straps, but I think they're kind of redundant. So yeah, where are we? We're almost at 10 minutes. So yeah, I guess, if people can't think of any other idea, well, drum heads, but that's again, if they really, really need the drum heads, again, there are different types of drum heads. So if you just get them, the generic cheap ones, they might play them to be polite, or they might just throw them in the corner. The pinstripe ones are going to cost 2 or 3 times more or whatever. So it kind of depends on how much you want to spend. Kind of depends on how much they like to play a particular, if they like the dot ones or the pinstripe ones or the this ones or that. And same with, like I said, same with strings. I know you'd think guitar strings, they just need guitar. There's lots of different kinds of guitar strings, unfortunately. So like I said, might save yourself a headache if you just get a gift card, but that sounds boring. So if you're looking for stocking stuffers, that at least they can exchange, blah, blah, blah. That's all up to you. And again, the age of the recipient and how grateful they may or may not be.